Hello folks, we're out for our second proper wild camp out in the woods. So just in the Kielder forest. We've got about a 2 mile walk from where we've parked to where we're going to camp. So he's had a brainwave that he wants to use a little trolley, which to be fair hasn't been a bad idea, because it's got his rucksack on, bungee strapped on, and he's carrying all the weight, all the water and the beer and the jars of curry and everything are all in his backpack. So
oh, you left your gin?
I've got my gin in here, don't worry about that, kid. I've got my gin.
I thought you left it on the carpet.
No, it's in the top of my bag. So we've been waiting all winter for a bit of weather, and at last the sun is shining. The wind's not howling, the snow's not driving us and killing us and cutting your ears off. So we're going to enjoy it. We'll be back in a bit. Absolutely gorgeous now. The sun's come out. I don't know if you can see them in the distance. There's some kids on a Canadian canoe playing on the reservoir of the safety boat, and you can hear the conversation. It's that still and that quiet. We're probably about 3/4 of the way to where we've got to get to now, and if you've not been to Kielder before, it's brilliant because you've got the reservoir with a path that goes all the way around the outside of it, and it's a decent path. I mean, he's been able to tow his little trolley along, and you see a lot of mountain bikers, and you could use wheelchairs. It's pretty flat underfoot, it's good. So it does make everywhere fairly accessible, but at the same time we're going to go to one of the designated wild camp spots where you're allowed to wild camp, but saying that, you've only got to be 3 or 4 metres off the path into the forest, and nobody's going to know you're there anyway. So as long as you're leaving no trace, can't see any problem in you just finding an unofficial spot, and it's flipping massive. So you know, if you get an ordnance survey map, it's pretty much the full map is the size of the forest. So it's huge in terms of how big it is. Even today, you know, the weather's come out, there's still not that many people about. We've probably passed about 15 mountain bikers. There's a couple of parties of people out on the water doing canoeing and things like that, but you know, considering there's still not a lot of people about, it's very remote. So if you like the look of it, go to the Lake District, keep the Lake District chock-a-block rammed, pay for parking, all that kind of stuff. Leave this for us. Suits us. Anyway, back in a bit. So this is the bit where we're going to go. If you have a look at this on the Kielder Water website, this will give you a bit of an idea as the location. But the head itself's up here, and we've been 2 or 3 times over the winter. Looks like he's having his lug holes fixed. Oh, you can still go inside it. It's 2 stories inside. You can go and look at the eye holes. You probably won't see it all with the lightness, but there's a little seat in there, and then you go up the steps to the upper level. But I know from trying to video it before, you can't get any decent lighting in there. It's not particularly good. So the last 50 yards past the head is where it gets bumpy, and this is now where the little trolley idea doesn't seem quite such a good idea. as he's dropped it about 3 times already. Great on that path. This is just too bumpy for it. Go slow. Well, we're here and we've got set up. We've got an absolutely cracking pitch. Tried doing something a little bit different with mine to what I've done before. I normally just have it with a very triangular setup, but I've got the front a little bit more open, mainly because it's going to give us the view right out across the reservoir, which is cracking. So this one's a little bit of a bodge on account of he was adamant he wanted to go here, because we came for a walk a few weeks back and we just stopped off and made a brew and everything, but we brought the hammocks and he put his hammock there a few weeks ago and thought it was fantastic, but it's not the best in terms of trying to get the tarp up over and above it. It's all a bit higgledy-piggledy, but I don't think it's not forecast to rain, it's not forecast to be too windy, so I can't see he's going to get wet or have too much of a problem. And if the wind does pick up, we're just going to have to undo these guide ropes and drop this side down a little bit tighter, but fingers crossed it should be okay. We've got inflatable air mattresses underneath because we haven't got under blankets for the hammocks, but I don't think it'll be that cold. We've done it in about 5-6 degrees before and it was perfectly fine, so it's forecast to be about that tonight, I think, so fingers crossed we're going to be alright. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a lovely spot. I thought there'd be more people camping, to be fair, because with the weather being as good as it is, but for the last probably hour we haven't even heard any cyclists go past. It's all gone quiet out on the reservoir. All the canoers have packed up and gone, so the only thing we've seen is a couple of fish jumping, so might have to have a look, see if I've got my little survival kit with a daft little fishing hook. Not that we'll be doing any fishing or anything, obviously, because you're not allowed. Right, we'll get a brew on and we'll be back in a minute. Look at this for a kitchen. Don't get much better than this. Right. Korma. Say no more. Where's your spork?
Where did you put it?
Looks like baby poo.
Shut up, I've got to eat that. Has it got chicken on with it?
Yeah,
How is it?
in amongst the baby poo.
Thanks. Did I put some rice in with it?
Not yet. Well, yeah, lump it all in and then we'll just warm it through.
Don't you see that? It's just all stuck together.
Well, that's alright.
Oh,
Flipping heck.
don't matter. Oh, God. Mega bad.
Well, then, Softly.
Fish is taking the nick out of us.
Since we've been here, the fish keeps jumping. Yeah. I don't know whether you want to go and get. Do you want to get a little bit of water?
Why?
I just think it needs a bit of just a spot of water in just to
long do you think it'll take to heat?
Not too long.
I'm sure that water's coming up. Is that log moving up and down there?
That's the waves off that boat that went past.
It's dumping over there now, right by the shore.
Why don't you get some of that rice and just chuck it in here? Fish has been jumping since we got here. Does it float or sink?
Can't see now, it's too small.
The baby poo's going down alright. I went to Madras with Mexican rice.
Quite a lot of rice bag.
Where's your bag?
Hmm?
Where's your rubbish? Show it there. Found a slight flaw in the plan. The jet boil needs the jet boil pot working with it. If you put the normal cooking pot on the top, it stifles the flame and puts it out. But it does it that quick. You can just hold it up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that, it's boiling already on the bottom. Bubbling. Put the cooker out. Believe our luck. After the winter we've had and the weather we've had, we're just sat here now, and it's 20 to 6. We're in our t-shirts. We've had a curry. Just gonna have a hot drink now. I recommend these jet boils. The speed for boiling water and that is absolutely fantastic.
Quicker than a kettle.
Well, definitely quicker than messing on with the fire and everything. Great. I thought we were going to get a bit of a sunset, but it's just got a bit cloudier now. Saying that, there's patches of blue, so it could still happen. It's probably not due to be dark till about 8 o'clock, just turned 8, something like that.
So, I think this morning.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. We're sitting here having a brew, and there's a chaffinch. See? Just on the tree there. She's come to join us. Little bird's back. Let's see if it'll come and do a close up. could do my own little Chris Packham show here, or David Bellamy, or Steve Irwin. Feisty little critters. It's absolutely beautiful. There's hardly a ripple on the water, the reflections are looking great. You see the birds chirping and a distant aeroplane. This is just a little inlet behind the where we're camping is kind of on a little peninsula, which is quite a good shout, because with it being a permitted camping area, if somebody did have a fire and set fire to the trees, it would be damage limitation that it's just in that little peninsula there. So it's spot on. Looks like it's going to be a nice sunset as well. Sun's really come out now. Thankfully the midges aren't too bad. There's the odd little one, but I normally get eaten, and touch wood, I'm okay so far. Well, we're fed and watered, just chilling out. Keep getting all manner of different little birds coming down, just sitting right next to our feet. So I've set my phone up on a time lapse there. So fingers crossed that'll do a nice job. It's still a bit broken skies. It's not going to be a fantastic sunset, I don't think. But we couldn't have asked for any better. I'm going to wait for the sun to go down a bit and have a little bit of a campfire down here. I can't even see them people. They must be over by that jetty, kayaking. And you can hear the conversation like they stood next to you. Definitely recommend you get yourselves out. A bit of peace and quiet like this. It's arguably too still because the sound from the other side of the reservoir's carrying that well. But we can put up with it. It's absolutely mint. We'll have ourselves a little fire once the sun goes down a bit. And I've got me cheeky sloe gin as well. Scratch down. Hold the match down. Come on, come on. Right, get the wood on quick now. Go on, get the room on and get all that on. And then move the matches away from that side of it. It took a bit of going getting this going. Everything's a bit damp after all the rain we've had. Little story for you anyway while we're on. doing now. This time last week, at about this time, last Saturday, we had a bit of a sneaky tip off that the sofa from Ant and Deck was at Woodhorn Colliery, which is fairly local to us. So we had a little sneaky ride up there just before the programme started, and then we waited for a phone call from a relative just to say that they've announced where it is, and we went steaming in as quick as we could, and ended up getting a little table tennis bat with a number on and everything, and then jumping around on the sofa going mental trying to win a holiday to Florida. So you could loosely see my arm in the background waving this table tennis bat with a number 16 on, and the little one, she managed to get on the front row giving a wave, but the rest of it wasn't particularly well lit. There was just a barrage of arms waving around and people going absolutely loopy. We didn't really get our 5 minutes of fame, did we?
No, it looked like it'd been took with like a Nokia brick as well, didn't it? Like the quality of it.
Yeah. They definitely want to up the game in terms of lighting and cameras, I tell you. And they wouldn't even let us have the sofa at the end of it. I asked if we could have it for the scout hut, and they said they needed it for the next series. I said, well, do you really think there's going to be a next series if he gets banged up with the old DD, you know? But we shall see. Nothing against him, but could have given us a sofa, like.
Could have been something on it.
The crowds were absolutely mental.
There's about 5,000 people there.
Yeah, it was crackers. It's just turned 8 o'clock and we're still sat here in t-shirts, which is a right result, because we were flapping about not having under blankets for the hammocks, and we were going to be warm enough and all that, and there's still not a breath of wind. It's hardly carried the smoke away. Not that there is much smoke now. It's little fires going great. Just enough for a bit of atmosphere. Sunset's nearly faded totally, but the sky is looking fairly clear. So I'm hoping that we're going to get a bit of proper starry skies and that, and get some nice photographs once it's gone dark. That's the plan. So I might even hold back on the gin a little bit just so I ain't got a wobbly hand. We'll see. Enjoying yourself?
Yeah.
Good. The wildlife's all gone a bit quiet now. All the little chaffinches and that seem to have gone to bed, and the fish have stopped jumping. It's just dead peaceful. It's lush. Catch you in a bit. Latest little bit of wildlife that's coming out now, the bats. I don't know whether you'll pick them out on this camera, but it's great with the silhouette of that tree. They stand out quite well. Sometimes they're coming flying straight towards us and quite close. We've seen 3 or 4 at the same time, but I bet we won't get one come over this way now we've started talking about them. I'm going to start letting the fire go out just in anticipation of the stars coming out, because there isn't a cloud in the sky. I'm not a big geek on stargazing, but I do know that, you know, this is a proper dark skies area and it could be mint. So fingers crossed. There's no wind at all still. It's brilliant. Oh, there's a bat there, can you see it? Wait, you coming back?
I was going to do a loop the loop.
Right then folks, it's just turned 10, we've just turned into bed. It's absolutely glorious out there in terms of the amount of stars that are coming out and that, not a cloud in the sky, still not a breath of wind. So we've had a thoroughly enjoyable evening. Just hope that we don't get any rain, which we're not expecting. So yeah, we're just going to get kipped up and we'll see you in the morning. Good night. Morning campers, it's 7:15. Woke up probably about an hour ago and just been having a laze in the hammock. I would say, judging by how my throat feels, I've been having a right good snore. But I don't think either of us slept particularly well. I think he was afraid of getting attacked by a Cheviot Yeti, and I just couldn't get comfortable. I kept getting cramp in my leg, and then my mat underneath slid out the side of my hammock. So we're glad to get home and have a nana nap this afternoon, I think. But when we woke up, it was really misty. It's starting to clear now and lift. There's a few woodpeckers been making a noise, and there's some owls making a noise in the night. But it's lovely. Still no wind at all. What's that flying across the water there?
Puffin?
Yeah, it's not a puffin, is it?
Yeah.
I can't say that.
I think seeing belly as well.
So we're going to get, I don't think we're going to bother with breakfast and that. I think we're just going to pack up and head off. Catch you in a bit. Just having a clear up, making sure we leave no trace. And our little friends come back to see us from last night. That's where we had the fire pit. So he's happy we've left it tidy, I think. Not afraid at all. We'll see you next time. The mist's starting to clear a bit over the reservoir. I've tidied it up there. I've just got the last few bits to do with it. That's it then, all packed up. Left no trace. Proper good tidy up. We even took a bit of other people's rubbish and sorted out where the fire was and that. You can't even tell we've had a fire. So homeward bound. Might have a coffee when we get to the cart. Let's crack on. Yeah, look at this. There's a buzzard there, and there's another one in the tree just up there. Let's see how close we can. Well then folks, that's us, nearly back to the car. So we were just having a run through about all the wildlife that we've seen and heard, and we've done pretty well this time. There was either, I don't know whether it's a chaffinch or a bullfinch, the little red bird that kept coming to join us. And then we've seen a buzzard, a heron, bats, fish jumping, or else frog.
Yeah.
Heard a woodpecker, heard an owl. Haven't seen any deer yet, but it's been spot on. Still no wind, and just loads of peace and quiet. It's been fantastic. So thanks for watching, and hopefully we're going to get a bit of summer, and it won't be too long till we do the next one. Thanks a lot, bye.